Legal expert Michael McCann joining us here on the program. Tom Brady hires a heavy hitter attorney, Ted Olson, who is a former Solicitor General for the U.S. He's argued a ton of cases in front of the Supreme Court, which leads us all to believe Brady's going to the Supreme Court. What are the chances here? What are his next moves?
Yeah, very low chances that he'll get to the Supreme Court. Very low chances that he'll get another hearing. But adding Ted Olson, I think, changes it a little bit. That this is a very serious attorney who judges are familiar with. The odds are against Brady, Michael. There's only about a 1% chance that a rehearing will be granted, and then if that fails, another 1% chance that the Supreme Court will grant it. But that's in general. You add the fact that this is Tom Brady, you add the fact that there have been 4 federal judges, 2 ruled for Brady, 2 ruled against, and you add now Ted Olson to the mix. I think the odds are certainly better than 1%, but clearly not 50%.
Well, my radio partner, Tony Masrati, has, I think, said correctly about this. No lead is safe. Because, you know, when you go through this whole process, the odds that Goodell's original decision would be overturned in district court were like 10%. Only, you know, less than 10% of those cases ever get overturned. It was. Then you went to the next level, and Judge Berman was only overturned about 8% of the time, or 6% of the time, some ridiculously low number like that. So the odds were heavily in Brady's favor. He lost, so it's like every step of the way, the long odds, came in. And so that's why I wouldn't rule anything out in this process. My question is there an in-between play? While they're waiting for the en banc decision or a Supreme Court filing, is there a way for Brady to get a stay or a restraining order somewhere where he can play and have the suspension, stayed while he's playing out the legal?
He can't do that per se, but one thing that could happen in between is Adrian Peterson winning his case. That could help Brady for a couple reasons. One is that another federal appeals court would say the NFL messed up in how they looked at player conduct. And the other issue is that if Adrian Peterson does win, it creates something of a circuit split between out west, in Midwest in the 8th Circuit, and in New York in the 2nd Circuit. That could help Brady if he petitions the Supreme Court.
So that would help at the Supreme Court level. How does this all time out? So the first thing has to be the en banc at the circuit court. He can't go to the Supreme Court first?
That's right.
Okay, so how long is this going to take?
Well, if the extension is granted, he'll have about a month from the day of the hearing. It was the decision back on April 25, and he'll file a petition. Then likely within a month, we'll get some kind of response.
May 25, June 25. So they'll respond by June 25. If they don't take it, then he goes to the Supreme Court.
He goes to the Supreme Court, but he does something else. He also petitions for a stay. He tells the 2nd Circuit, look, you ruled against me, but I think you should hold off on the suspension because I would suffer irreparable harm. I would never get these games back. And this isn't about game checks. This isn't about the fact that I could get paid later. This is about the adverse effect it would have on my career and my teammates. That would be a key moment in the case, whether or not, while Brady waits for the Supreme Court, the suspension is postponed. Hard to get, but that could be a game changer.
Especially because, in the scenario we just laid out, they had denied him. So the en banc panel denies him the second hearing, but they would give him a stay. They wouldn't really do that, would they?
It's unlikely, but it depends on what the vote is on the en banc. Let's say there are 13 votes on this. Let's say it's 7-6 or something like that. He might have a chance.
Okay. This ain't over, Michael. This ain't over.